Hello everybody, welcome to the first video of the Conduct and Practices Handbook, and this is just a brief introduction video to kind of walk you through the Conduct and Practices Handbook, the CPH course provided by the Canadian Securities Institute. So here guys, I'm just going to walk through the different sections. There's a total of 10 chapters in the CPH Handbook by the Canadian Securities Institute, and really this is really going to outline the provincial securities legislation, and also what are referred to as self-regulatory organizations. Abbreviation, these are called SROs. And you guys have probably seen some of these SROs in the Canadian Securities course. If you've already taken that course, you guys should be familiar with what we refer to as IROC and MFDA. So we're going to talk about those. This is going to kind of be the main components of how these different securities regulators at the provincial level in the SROs, how they help maintain ethical standards along with rules and regulations for the dealer members and institutions to remain compliant within the framework that they provide. So there's three different sections, okay, of the conduct, three sections of the CPH, in which we're going to be covering as we go through sections, 10 chapters, okay, so three sections of the CPH, and these are going to include Section 1, number 1, is going to be focused mainly on the regulatory environment. Regulatory environment, and this is going to cover 3 chapters. Okay, these 3 chapters, one is going to be on the Canadian Securities Industry Registrant Code of Ethics and Standards Conduct, regulations of the security industry, and the regulations of the industry participants. So there's going to be 3 chapters there. So 3 chapters. Section number 2 is going to be focused on dealing with client accounts. Okay, and so this is going to go over things like opening accounts for clients, placing orders for securities for clients, cash and margin requirements, whether you're holding different types of margin accounts for clients. There's certain regulations that correspond to how you can deal with those and some minimum standards that must be met, and also communication with clients. So there's going to be, 5 chapters that are going to be covering dealing with clients, and this is really going to be the meat of the CPH book itself. And then the last section, this is going to be section number 3 of the book. It's going to deal with the last 2 chapters of the book. This is going to be about special transactions and products. Transactions and products. Okay, so this is going to really be focused around, new issues to the market, whether that's an equity issue in terms of an IPO, or whether that's going to be a new debt issuance in the primary market, or potentially new equity issuances in the secondary market in terms of seasoned equity offerings. And then also we're going to talk about takeover bids, insider bids, and issuer bids in chapters 9 and 10. So these are going to be the 3 sections, okay? So section number 1, section number 2, section number 3. We're going to go through all those different components here. And I just want to remember, these standards that the SROs and the provincial securities legislations outline, these are going to be, basic minimum standards that firms need to comply with within the securities industry. This is not to say that each individual securities firm, they will probably impose their own code of ethics and their own standards, which may be over and above what the provincial legislatures mandate, along with the SROs themselves. One further note, and before we go, this CPH course here, there's not going to be any options. So this is no options or derivatives regulations, okay, within this CPH discussion of this. If you do need or you're looking for information about that, you can register with CSI through their options and derivative licensing courses. Okay, so that's just a brief introductory video about what we're going to be covering in the Conduct and Practices Handbook. We'll follow up in the next chapter in regards to beginning chapter 1, which is going to correspond to the Canadian Securities Industry Registrant Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct.